A Humber TV exclusive. Our news team was the only student media at the Prime Minister's campaign platform meeting this morning.
Stephen Harper tells us about his education plans, and we have the latest on youth unemployment. Humber News starts right now.
Hello, it's Friday, April 8th. Welcome to Humber News, coming to you from the Broadcast Center here at the North Campus. I'm Tom Yanni. Thanks for joining us.
And I'm Sangeeta Patel. Ahead on our show, we'll have all your news, sports, and entertainment highlights, as well as your 5-day weather forecast. But first, Tom has our top story.
Prime Minister and Conservative leader Stephen Harper is in Mississauga today to unveil his campaign platform. Humber News reporter Arda Zakarian has the details.
The crowd at the Conservative rally today were very vocal about where their support lies. Prime Minister Stephen Harper was at the Mississauga Convention Centre to announce key points of his campaign. Students have reportedly had difficulties attending recent Conservative rallies. Some said because they were associated with other parties. However, the Conservatives have since apologized. Humber TV News was the only student news outlet in attendance today. Humber News producer Kathleen Peroff was the first student to interview the Prime Minister one-on-one since the election campaign began.
Mr. Prime Minister, you touched a little bit today out in your campaign platform there on education, and we were just wondering as students a little bit more about what you plan to do for education and how do you plan on appealing to student voters?
Well, first of all, I think I should talk about some of the things we have done because I think it's pretty important. We've provided record increases in post-secondary education support to our provinces. Previous government had cut those back. We've increased it. We've done some specific things for students and their families, tax credits for bursaries, tax credits for textbooks, tax credits for those who use transit. We've had a special summer jobs program during the recession. In this particular platform, we're talking about enhancing access to student loans for families and for students, including for part-time students. We're putting a lot of money, we have been past years and this year again, into research facilities so that our post-secondary institutions are strong and have cutting-edge research and education available for people. Well, these are all, small and big things we've done for students, but the big picture is this, and I always want to emphasize this. I think the most important thing we want to do for students is make sure that our economy is strong and that they will have jobs when they leave school, jobs in the fields they're studying. I remember when I was, your age, much younger, the biggest worry in those days was that even though governments were putting money into education, unemployment rates were double digit, and you didn't know if you would get any kind of work when you graduated. People were often staying in school simply because they couldn't find work. And that's something we want to change, that we want to make sure that all the great education we're doing turns out to be a lifetime of rewarding employment for people. So that's really our objective.
Harper also spoke about education and financial support for students with a high school student from the area. With the election less than a month away, Stephen Harper touched on key points today at the Conservative rally, such as tax breaks for families and keeping our streets safe. It's with these campaign promises that Harper hopes to win a Conservative majority on May 2nd. Arda Zakarian, Humber News.
Canada's jobless rate has dropped to 7.7%. Statistics Canada says full-time employment rose by 91,000 in the month of March. That was offset by a decline of 92,000 in part-time work. The study also shows employment declined among youths aged 15 to 24. We took to the halls of Humber to hear students' job hunting stories.
It's been kind of hard, because where I am, they're not really hiring anywhere.
I've had the same job since I was 15, 16 years old, so I just come back every summer for the same job. So usually it's easy.
I went to a store and I mentioned that I'm in photography, so they're asking me if I want to work there, if I'm looking for a job, and I'm like, yeah, so this year it's successful.
Now, keeping tabs on the federal election, here's where the party leaders are today. Conservative leader Stephen Harper is headed to Kitchener tonight for a rally after his platform announcement in Mississauga. Liberal leader Michael Ignatieff was at a Hamilton hospital announcing he'll keep up healthcare funding to the provinces after the current agreement expires. The NDP's Jack Layton is in Surrey, BC, announcing his plans for crime prevention, and the Bloc's Gilles Duceppe is meeting with students' associations in Saginaw, Quebec.
Mayor Rob Ford promised to stop the gravy train, and now Toronto City councillors are feeling the pinch. Deputy Mayor Doug Holliday is placing restrictions on what expenses city councillors can bill the city. His plan calls for eliminating donations to community organizations, ratepayer groups, and sports teams. The annual office budget of individual councillors has already been cut from just over $50,000 to $30,000. Holiday says some past items were billed to the city that were an embarrassment to those on council.
Ashley Kirlo, the 23-year-old Burlington woman who faked cancer for money and attention, will serve a 15-month conditional sentence for her crimes. She pleaded guilty to 2 counts of fraud, one under $5,000 and one over $5,000. All other fraud charges have been dropped. Kirlo's sentence is split between 10 months of house arrest and 5 months of curfew, in addition to the 2 weeks she served in Vanier Correctional Facility when she was first arrested.
When we come back, we'll have more news from around the country and the world. Mike Van Oosten will have the sports news, and we'll have your weather forecast with Miranda Anthistle.
Happy Friday, everyone. Right now it's 3 degrees in Toronto with a mix of sun and cloud. Will the weekend weather warm up? Stay tuned. We'll have your 5-day weather forecast coming up after the break.